Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Iyun Sion. Today we're doing Masechtas Eiruvin, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Zayin and Ches. Mishnah Zayin and Ches really record the same machlokas. It's repeated in different forms in Mishnah Zayin and Mishnah Ches. Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabban have a machlokas about Rosh Hashanah. Is the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah Kedusha Achas? Right nowadays we have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah is Kedusha Achas, or is it considered to be two separate Kedushos, like a regular Rosh Chodesh, right? Now, these Mishnahs really are talking about in the time of the Beis HaMikdash. Now, I'll talk at the end of this year about practically today, because today we're not Makadesh based on the Re'iyah, not based in Saw. We're Makadesh based on the Luach, right? Hillel made a calendar, so we know exactly when the new moon is. So here, nowadays, we only do Yom Tov Sheni and Chutz Haaretz, Minhag Avosayim V'Yadayim. It's different nowadays, but let's focus back on the time of the Beis HaMikdash. This is what when they're Makadesh based on the Re'iyah, this is really what the Tanaim are arguing about. Machlokes is whether Rosh Hashanah is Kedusha Achas, and the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah are Kedusha Achas in the same Kedusha, or they consider Shtei Kedushos. In which case, if there's 2 different days of Kedusha, so therefore I can make an Eruv on one day to one place, Eruv on the second day to the second place, like we learned yesterday. Or I can be Mafresh Trumas and Maishos, right, on 2 different days, and one of them, Iman of Shach, either way, on the second day, it'll be Hofresh Trumas and Maishos, one of the days is Chol. Or a Beis Hashanolda on Rosh Hashanah, the second day it's Mutter. So the 3 different nafkaminas. The Yehuda says Shtei Kedusha. The Rabbanan say we possibly like the Rabbanan the Kedusha Achas. Now we said that in the main shir, the reason the Rabbanan say this, Daka Rosh Hashanah, is because there was an incident where the Edom came in a Mincha Lamala on Rosh Hashanah, Lamed Elul, and they were Makadesh the Chodesh, they were Makadesh Rosh Hashanah on that day, but they were Mekilkul Bashir. They had a problem with the Shir Shal Yom, because it says Shir Shal Yom at the Talmud Shal Ben Arbaim of Chol, and it was supposed to be a Rosh Hashanah. So because of that incident, they made that even if the Edom were coming to Mincha Lamala, there would be no 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So what's fundamentally the difference in Rosh Hashanah and the time of the Beis HaMikdash, a regular Rosh Chodesh? So we're talking about people who did not live in Yerushalayim. They could not hear about the Rosh Chodesh. That's why people are making 2 eras. They're not sure which day based in is Mekadesh. They have no way of finding out, right? So it's a suffix. It's like the Raisa L'chumra. It's like the Raisa, which day is Rosh Chodesh. Here we're dealing with Dinim da Raisa, Tchumim, let's say. We're dealing with Dinim, at least in the Mishnah Zion, of Dinim da Raisa. It's like the Raisa L'chumra. You go L'chumra. Now, we've been talking a lot. It's like the Raisa L'chumra. Is that Din Midal Raisa or is it Din da Rabbanan? So that's really the difference between a regular Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Hashanah. Because in Rosh Hashanah, because of the incident that happened specifically on Rosh Hashanah, so therefore the suffix, and the Rishonim discusses, the suffix was actually nolad. It was actually created in the Beis Din itself, in the Yerushalayim, in the Lishkas Hagazis, in the Beis HaMikdash itself. So it's sort of like Ischazek Yisura, like, right? The facts remain, right? The suffix was over a tangible Beis Din over there. When should they be Makadesh the Chodesh? So therefore, when it's Chazak Yisura, everyone agrees L'chumra. We treated the Raisa, we go L'chumra Mido Raisa when it says Chazak Yisura in the Beis Din, in the Vad itself, the Beis Din. So therefore, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, because they were instituted, right, because of an incident which happened in the Beis Din itself, so therefore, the Kedusha that they gave to them is Tzavik D'Raisa L'chumra Mido Raisa. So therefore, both days, the first day, one day that's actual Rosh Chodesh is D'Oraisa Rosh Chodesh, and the second day is also on a D'Oraisa level Rosh Chodesh, because it's D'Oraisa L'chumra, Mid'Oraisa Yigol L'chumra, so therefore it's Kedusha Achas, both days are D'Oraisa. However, a regular Rosh Chodesh, where they didn't have this incident of Kilkul Levim Bashir, so a regular Rosh Chodesh is just Savik D'Oraisa L'chumra, and we're dealing with people who are outside of Yerushalayim. They're relying on what happened in Beis Din, but to them, it's all like Kavua, right? Kavua, Kol Kavua Gomechsa Mechsa Dami. We explain that's really Midrabanan. Kol Kavua Mechsa Mechsa Dami, right? It's talking about you bought meat in one of 10 stores. 9 of them sell kosher meat. 1 sells treif meat. You're judging the meat you have right now, even though the stores are Kavua, they're not moving. But it's not because the meat is in your house. It's not in the stores anymore. So here also, you're outside of Yerushalayim. So for you, on Rosh Chodesh, right, where the suffix wasn't in the Beis Din, on Hagar, in the Beis Din, Kikul Levim Bashir, it's Savik D'Oraisa L'chumra Midrabanan. So therefore, right, you have to be knowing both days of Yom Tov, a regular Rosh Chodesh, of 2 days of Pashal Rosh Chodesh, might be Rosh Chodesh, might not be Rosh Chodesh, right? Obviously, Rosh Chodesh doesn't have the chumras of Yom Tov, but Um, but a Yom Tov is based on the Rosh Chodesh, so let's say a Yom Tov of Pesach, and you didn't hear from the Edom, right? Or a Yom Tov of Sukkot for the 15th day, right? And you don't know which day it is. So therefore, the Safek Daraisa L'Chumra is only Darabbanan because you're not in the basin itself. And because you're not in the basin itself, so therefore, one day is actual Daraisa, and the other day is Darabanan. So Daraisa L'Chumra means Darabanan. So that's Shtei Kedushos. You can't call it Kedusha because on a Daraisa level, one is really Kadosh and one is not Kadosh. So the reason the second is Kadosh is only Darabanan level. So you can't say Shtei Kedusha Achas when one is Daraisa and one is Darabanan. I believe that's the correct explanation. Nowadays, right, there are Makadesh based on the Luach, and the Gemara and Beitza says, the Minhag was saying then, we know exactly which day Rosh Chodesh is. It's just a Minhag. So for sure it's going to be Shtei Kedushos over here because the first day, one day is Del Raisa, Yom Tov, and the second day, Yom Tov Sheni Shel Golius, that's only a Minhag. So I guess a Minhag and a Del Raisa for sure is not Kedusha Achas, it's Shtei Kedushos because they're not on the same level, Del Raisa, or even Del Raisa and the Rabbanan. It's Del Raisa and a Minhag. So therefore, it's considered Shtei Kedushos, as the Gemara Paskins and Mesachas Beitza on the Daled Amud Beis, I believe. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.